Hello, my name is Rachel Gabor and I'm a grade 11 student. I chose to talk about this because I'm doing media school right now, and so this semester I've been learning all about film, how to make a good film, film history, technical elements, and the story elements. And this has been really interesting to me because I began to notice on my own the imbalance in the film industry, and I decided to learn more about the field that I want to go into and sort of opened this door into this world that I didn't really know anything about, but now I know a lot about it and it's shocking. I started with the Bechdel test, which is a pretty popular test. It's not a very good test, but it definitely opens up the conversation.
And I realized that these women are smart, terrific people who are just trying to make a difference in the world. And we've become really good friends.
The next step I did was I went into the research a little bit more and found a couple studies in which they actually scientifically proved the percentage of male versus female roles in film dialogue in the film industry. Another test that I did looked more at the overall general film industry. The second test was more wide open. It wasn't necessarily about word count, but about overall what is happening behind the scenes and in front of the camera in the film industry. After I found the research, I didn't really know what to do with it. It was a lot and kind of shocking, and so I thought I am literally studying film all semester. I have a bunch of people surrounding me every day that are deeply invested in the film industry and really want to go in that direction after school. So I decided to interview a bunch of my friends, my teacher, and my dad.
Hi, I'm Dan Gabor. I'm the Dean of Students at Briarcrest.
My name is Paris Mayashita. I am a very young actress and I'm ready to get into the biz.
Hi, my name is Leticia. I'm in grade 11 and I'm in media school.
I'm Liam. I'm in grade 11 at Edmund Hardy and I'm in the media school program.
Okay, I'm Holly and I'm in media school.
My name's Tom Symes. I teach at Edmund Hardy Collegiate Media School. Ka-ching. But I also am a filmmaker, and I've made such films as Season of Dreams, Underdogs, Run Broken Yet Brave, and Because of Gracia.
Yes, for sure. I've always, as a kid, noticed that women get a lot less screen time. So yeah, I do, yeah.
I didn't notice it in films as much until now, having done and being in the media school program. I've noticed that alongside how the same equality exists within the entire film production world, because it isn't the actors who pick what movies they do, it's the producers and the studio heads who, I think, and that is a male-dominated business as well.
Okay, well, literally, not until you said that, I didn't really notice, but I just always noticed that, men are just, more, main characters than, female are. And, not necessarily, a female isn't a main character, but it's more, the plot is, focused on the men.
Heck yeah. I mean, honestly, it's shocking to see it written, but honestly, no, because watching it, you do see those things subliminally, right? Like, you don't look at it and you're like, oh, men, but you do, yeah.
Not really. Like, I mean, I don't just look at statistics for fun, but like, it didn't really surprise me because, like, you always just kind of hear about men being way more involved in like the background stuff for films. Like, you never really hear about like female directors. Is always just like, oh, like a male director. So like, it didn't really surprise me.
We're greatly diminished as a society if 50% of our members are defining themselves only in reference to the opposite sex. If their goals and dreams are only related to attracting a man. And I do see this in high school sometimes, not all, but there's a segment of our young women whose lives are defined by who they're connected with. And I think that's really troubling because as a society, we're losing the contribution that they could make. No longer are they dreaming about what they could do or accomplish or contribute to society. All they're thinking about is making a connection with a man, and we become less of a society when potentially as much as half of our population is being trained down that road.
The question that I've decided to answer, that is like the main question, there are so many questions that I had at the beginning of this read, but I've decided on how does it impact us as a society, personally, how does it impact the people that I love? How does it impact me?
The media doesn't want women who talk a lot. They want women to be in the background, and they don't stand up, and they don't do protests and stuff like that. It's subliminal messaging, and it made me mad. It made me frustrated, and it also made me a bit frustrated with myself because I didn't realize that was happening.
Yeah, so, yeah, growing up, the only person that I could identify with was like Dora, right? Because she was like the Latina queen. But like, yeah, I think that definitely they should have more women doing things, but again, women of all sorts, because I have friends personally that never saw themselves growing up. And I think that affected a lot of us, and it definitely needs to get better, yeah.
For the most part, it hasn't really ever impacted me like in a hurtful way. It's kind of been more of like, I wonder why like he has more attention than like a girl would.
I think when you're a kid and you're from like any minority group, let's say, and you're watching and you don't see yourself, you're kind of like, so do I not matter? Am I not good enough? And so I think having representation of all sorts in women, men, and everything else, everything in between, is super important because, yeah, it helps you kind of feel like you belong.
I think overall, because it is about representation, if it isn't equal stories being represented, it feels like, I think it just perpetuates the feeling that lots of males mostly have, that they're dominant or superior for whatever reason, because if they feel like they're being overrepresented and that's all that's important in society, then they start to believe that as well. The opposite too, if you're underrepresented, you feel that you're not important in society.
I think we often view ourselves as free thinkers, independent, right? I have my own ideas, I know what I think, I have opinions, and so on, but I think we underestimate the ways that we're shaped by things like film, or even music too. Advertising, of course, is designed completely to shape our thinking, and so these things are done to us in ways that are subversive and subtle. We're not always aware of the ways we're being shaped by these things. In this case, I think there's a cultural script about the value of a woman that is taking place within our lives that we're not even mindful of. And because, again, of that genre of film, we're just looking for entertainment, our guard is down, and we are shaped by these things. So I think, I see the film industry shaping people's lives, and for the most part, we're not aware of it.
This just makes me want to work harder into work towards a world where this isn't as big of a problem as it is. But I realized that it impacts my little sister, for example, all of these young girls that I see, because they don't see themselves on the screen, and so then they think maybe they can't do this, maybe it isn't how it's supposed to be, maybe it's not how it works. And that scares me, because we are then denying the world their potential, you know? Then maybe we will be denied the positive change that they could bring because of what we're telling them as kids.
He'll die alone, as will you. She's not alone.
I think you fix it one film at a time. You know, there's some filmmakers that I think are pretty conscious of creating strong characters, whether they're male or female. And just creating characters that are interesting, I think, will create more dialogue for female characters.
I think the goal for writers and directors has to be healthy relationship between the sexes. And they have to be intentional about the messaging that they put forward, both in terms of like the writing and the script and their intentional goals for a film, but also in the unintentional ways that they communicate. The sort of byproduct messaging that they send is they're responsible for the cultural scripts that they present. They can make a contribution to society if they will it, if they decide it's important. But it might cost them financially. They might give up money in order to produce films that are more meaningful and more helpful. But then when we start to ask these questions, we start to ask questions about what makes a meaningful life. Is it money? Or is there something more to life than just producing wealth?
There also is a part in which this is a dangerous topic, because we can also flip to the other side. We can say, well, now we need a film era in which there are way higher female main roles than male, and we can just switch it all and make it even more crazy.
So find out, I want some names.
Hold on, you gave her wings?
But here's the thing, we are different, but we are equally valuable. And that is what I want to see on screen. I want to see us stop trying to compete and just be able to work together as a team.